Good evening, Patriots. Constitution Vet here, and welcome back to my channel. Every day, we endure information overload. Through all of this, actual truth can become pretty murky. However, once you find that truth, use it as a weapon against prevailing dogma. This video, we're going to analyze that word, dogma, and we're going to understand what it means and how you can fight against it today. As always, guys, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on those notifications, and please keep supporting the brave patriots down below in the description. We're in this fight together, guys. Let's keep going. But before we go any further, please make sure to check out this wonderful sponsor, Freedom Hill Coffee.
Owned and operated by veterans, Freedom Hill Coffee Roasters create exquisite brews from select beans, offering a wide selection of roasts and merchandise. Apply Constitution Vet for a 10% discount on your next order. Freedom Hill Coffee Roasters, supporting noble causes and brewing excellent coffee for those who love God, family, and country.
After having this coffee for the past few weeks, I can tell you it's a really great product. And Freedom Hill Coffee Roasters is a phenomenal organization. I have some of their supplies right here and right here. As you can tell, I'm wearing a shirt and tie, which is not normal for my channel. I've been out adulting all day today. I apologize for this video being a little bit later, but again, I came home and I want to knock this out really quick instead of changing. So without any further ado, sit back, relax, grab your drink, and let's get started. As mentioned before, this video focuses on the word dogma. Now, what does that mean exactly? The word is in fancy lettering, because sometimes this word can be applied to big, fancy, beautiful ideas. But sometimes those ideas can be so well ingrained that people refuse, I mean absolutely refuse, to hear any other perspectives. Now, if you go into Google and type in dogma, you're going to get multiple definitions. From a historical perspective, dogma is basically an absolute refusal to hear other perspectives, even when challenged with credible evidence. But what does dogma actually look like in the modern day? Well, one example of a dogmatic belief is that you must go to college to be successful. You must go to the best Ivy League schools to be super successful in your career. As we know, that's not entirely true. But of course, people in these institutions are going to stand firm in their dogmatic approach and say, no, if you don't go to our special school and get our special degree, you won't be special. Now, again, I'm not trying to trash college, but do not believe the dogma of college. Another dogmatic principle lies within education. Standardized testing. For so long, people have believed that this is the best way to test a student's knowledge. This is the best way to show if you're smart or not. But in reality, it's not. This is probably the worst way you can assess someone's knowledge. But even today, there are still institutions that refuse to hear other perspectives. A final example of a modern day form of dogma comes from the idea that these government agencies really do care about you. They really do have your best interests at heart. They really are here to make sure you are happy and healthy. Again, as we're seeing day by day, the experts may not be the experts that we've been led to believe, yet they refuse to hear other points of view. Hence, they become dogma. What about history? How can we apply this notion of dogma or dogmatic principles to the realm of history? This video will showcase 3 examples of how you have this dominating narrative that has been the norm for many years. But those narratives have been challenged. And the response from the historical community has not been one of, oh, wow, that's a new perspective. Come on in. Instead, it's, that's a new perspective. But that challenges everything we've done. We don't want to hear that. Stay away. We don't want to hear it. That is dogma. The first example of this is Gobekli Tepe. Now, if you haven't heard of it, that's understandable. A lot of people don't know about this. However, this archaeological discovery changes everything we know about human history. Built around 10,000 BC, this megalithic complex predates the Great Pyramids by an average of 7,000 years. Set within the pre-pottery Neolithic era, these stone circles were constructed without the wheel, pottery, or metal tools. Around 10,000 BC is when people started learning how to plant seeds and create this thing called agriculture. From that, you have river valley civilizations, Egypt, Mesopotamia, the Indus River Valley, all of these things. It shouldn't exist because this was built by hunter-gatherers. It was built by people who were supposed to have just been moving around, hunting and gathering. And yet, this physical evidence proves that ancient human beings were far more intelligent than we originally gave them credit for. More importantly, this structure was erected on a large hill in Turkey, far from any major rivers or other sources of agriculture. What that means is these hunter-gatherers had to come together and figure out the logistical demands of building a complex like this. This will blow your mind. So if you're not ready to have your mind blown yet, don't look into this. But if you do want to have your mind blown, check out the links below. I provide additional resources on these topics I'll be covering. This doesn't fit the dogma. For many years, historians, archaeologists, scientists, they all agreed, okay, human beings did not start building megalithic sites until after agriculture. This challenges all of that. And so the natural response to this discovery is, oh no, it must be a fake. No, that can't be real. No, that challenges everything we know. And yet, here it is. The second example pertains to the mystery of the cocaine mummies. Now, this is absolutely fascinating. In 1992, a German toxicologist named Svetlana Balbanova discovered traces of cocaine, hashish, and nicotine in the hair of an Egyptian mummy. The mummy, named Henetawi, was an Egyptian priestess of the 21st dynasty. The discovery of cocaine in an Egyptian mummy caused a lot of controversy, since this drug comes from the cocoa plant, which is native to the Americas. This goes even further and argues that the Egyptians were one of the first people to discover the New World. Like before, down below, there's some links to some phenomenal resources on this subject. People still are trying to figure out how the heck did this Egyptian woman get cocaine in her system. The point is, you're not going to hear about this in most history textbooks. You're not going to see this on normal avenues of history. Why? Because it doesn't fit the dogma. And yet, here it is. The last example is one that I have a personal connection to, and that pertains to the Texas Rangers. While this may not be as ancient or as mind-blowing as Gobekli Tepe or the Egyptians, this does apply to historical dogma. Since the early 1800s, the Texas Rangers have defended the Texan frontier. Revisionist historians paint the Texas Rangers as a racist organization that was created to subjugate minorities. You can find this narrative almost everywhere, through online articles, academic and non-academic books, everywhere. There's been this predominant narrative saying that the Texas Rangers were and always have been a racist organization. But a little bit of research that I did in spring of 2020 led to an 18-page paper that challenged the dogma that these 20-plus year experts have been writing about. that the actual evidence shows that the Rangers were an extremely diverse group of Tejanos, natives, and Anglos. They fought together to defend Texas against the Comanche Empire. Bottom line, my research did not fit the dogma. And yet, here it is. So what's the point? Why bother learning about this word? Why care about looking at history, seeing these narratives? Because at the end of the day, this dogmatic approach to history could be wrong. I want to end this video with a quote from one of my personal heroes. The simple step of a courageous individual is not to partake in the lie. One word of truth outweighs the whole world. This guy fought for the Soviet Union, was thrown into the Gulag system, and escaped. His work helped bring down the Soviet Union. In closing, the purpose of this video is to encourage y'all to never stop fighting. If you know the truth, use it as a weapon against the dogmatic beliefs of the many. Right now, as you all know, you have all these experts telling you, you must do this. This is the right way. But if you think for yourself, do your own research, you will find the truth and you will find evidence that might prove the experts wrong. You will find that evidence. Go to the experts and say, hey, this evidence goes completely against what you're saying. If they ignore this proof that shows the frailty of their argument, then they are dogma incarnate. Then you, this little person, has suddenly become a very large threat. Even a small person can cast a very large shadow. On that note, Patriots, have a fantastic weekend. Make sure to give yourself time to relax, escape, spend time with your faith, spend time with your family, do whatever you gotta do. I love every single one of y'all. Keep fighting. Keep on supporting the brave patriots down below. Never surrender, never submit. This is Constitution Vet, signing out.